right, what's going on, everyone? Good morning. Welcome to the PreStream podcast. I'm Darkside Phil. Hello, hello. Did you know that this is, I think, now I'm going to say this and sound stupid if I don't confirm it. Yes, this is the 102nd episode of the PreStream podcast. I missed the 100 episode anniversary. I totally forgot about it. Not that it's a big deal. As I told you guys many months ago when I started this podcast as a morning thing before my full day of gameplay streaming, I told you it was going to go by like this. That next thing you know, there's going to be so many episodes because I do it daily and I stream daily. You know, I'm here 6 days a week. And that means 6 podcasts a week, right? With a few exceptions. There's a week or two in there when I had a little more time off. Or the days, you know, they didn't line up exactly right. And, you know, February is a shorter month, too. But basically, I knew with the frequency that I streamed that there was going to be a ridiculous amount of episodes of this podcast coming out. And that it was going to accumulate fairly quickly. And it's funny because if you look at, like, over the years, the ongoing shows that I've done in the last 13 plus years that I've been a content creator, shows like Ask the King or DSP Tries It and the like, very few of them really hit 100 episodes. Likely because, for example, in the case of Ask the King, they kind of fell out of prominence or even utility or use. Like, I used to do the weekend preview, and what's the point of the weekend preview when you're talking about what's going on in gaming, you know, in your schedule every single day, you see? But in this case, I figured this was going to be a show that was going to rack up the episodes right away, and here we are, and I'm like, episode 102, like, it is what it is. By the end of this year, holy crap, how many episodes will there be? Hundreds and hundreds, right? And what I would like to say is, thanks to those of you who like this show, who follow the show and watch it and listen to it and like it and everything, just as a show alone. And what I mean by that is, yes, absolutely, this podcast is a part of my overall content on DSPGaming. And a lot of the times I discuss the things that I'm going to be doing on the rest of my daytime streaming, etc. But, you know, as a standalone show, some people have been telling me they actually like this better than the gameplay that I do, which is kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, that's cool because I've talked about this recently. Okay, I do realize that long term, there's absolutely no way I'll be able to be a full-time gaming streamer for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be 40 years old. My birthday is coming up the first week of April, and already I can tell you guys, you know, I'm seeing health issues with my hands. I'm starting to feel the signs of carpal tunnel creeping in. I've had days where I told you guys that I had numbness or pain, and you know, there's only so much you could do. I can exercise and I can do a few things, but I realize that long term, for the rest of my life, is this something that's maintainable? Just playing games all day long? And the answer is no, probably not. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to give up on playing games or streaming. I love it. You know, this is what I feel is my passion, what I've done for over 13 years, and I absolutely love doing it. But at the very same time, as I say that, I realize that there's just reality. As I get older, hand-eye coordination is going to decline. And, like I said, carpal tunnel, probably going to happen. So that being said, likely what I'll do long-term is split my efforts. You know, there will be a side to my content where I end up doing podcast-style work. Whether it's about current events, whether it's about politics, whether it's about just the news or pop culture, whatever it may be. There's obviously a space for it considering how many effing people do it right now, right? I mean, holy crap. There's a ridiculous amount of people who are famous on YouTube just for talking about nothing every day. Current events, wow, get 1 million views, right? So it's there. And I realize that it's there. It's not something that I want to pursue per se right now. I absolutely love doing what I do for a living, and I want to keep doing it as long as I can. But like I said, the good sign about this, okay, is that I feel that I've planted the seeds, right? I've now planted the seeds with this podcast to diversify myself and to do different kinds of content on the internet, and that's good. if I have a following for this podcast as well as my gameplay, then that means that maybe one day if I want to split my efforts and increase the amount of podcast style content I'm doing as opposed to raw gameplay and streams, I can do that. Okay? So that being said, thank you to those who are enjoying this podcast on a daily basis. I appreciate your support. Thanks to those who are watching it live and liking it. Thanks to those who watch it on demand later. I know there's a group of people who watch it on demand later. It's funny because a lot of times the views on this podcast daily exceed the amount of views that I get on the gameplay videos I'm uploading. Go figure, right? So there you go. There's obviously an audience. So thanks for that. All right, so today is Monday, the 28th of March, 2022, and all kinds of stuff going on all over the place, as we all know. It's my last streaming day of the week. 7 straight days of streaming this week. One of the busiest streaming weeks that I've ever had. And crazy amount of progress and crazy amount of content that I put out. I'm happy to be streaming today. I'm happy with the lineup for today. It should be a good one. I know you guys are happy. Okay? I'm excited for everything. It's a good day to end the week on. Now, remember, you remember? What? Is this a weird freeze frame? Remember, my birthday is coming up, and as I announced yesterday on the PreStream podcast, there is going to be a special event coming up to celebrate my birthday on my birthday. It's going to be a marathon event of gaming, plus a live feasting with the king, plus I'm going to try out birthday cake that my wife's going to make me for my birthday. All right, it's a big 4-0. It's a milestone birthday, being considered over the hill, basically meaning that once you hit the age of 40, this is an American thing, by the way. I don't know if this is outside the U.S., but I know for a fact this is definitely an American thing, that once you hit the age of 40, you're halfway through your life. And now everything was uphill. Well, everything's downhill from here. Now, I talked about at length yesterday on the PreStream podcast. Well, I don't feel that's the case. I'm liking my life more now than I ever did when I was younger. That's just a case of me kind of building to a better life. And I'm not having no midlife crisis or anything like that, that's for sure. But I'm excited to celebrate my birthday here on stream, okay? So, what I basically want to do is in the next week, because I got about a week to prepare for this, I would like to get your opinions on what I should do during this marathon event. And there's 2 options. Option 1 is that I do a marathon of Game Pass games that I've already played, and I'm basically kind of picking up on those playthroughs and doing a little bit more progress. So some examples here that we could do: I Am Fish, Serious Sam 4, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, maybe Quake, or, there's a lot of games that I've started on Game Pass and got a taste of, and I like them, but we haven't had a chance to really go back to them in several months. So, that could certainly be one good viable option. It would be big variety. There'd be no pressure to make any certain kind of progress in any of the games because they're not necessarily ongoing playthroughs. They're just kind of silly coverage of these games that I tried out for free via Game Pass. Some people seem to like the idea. They think that this would be a good idea, okay? Okay. Or the other idea is, instead of taking a day away from all of my ongoing playthroughs and progress and all the games that I'm juggling, because, by the way, right now I'm juggling quite a lot of games, including Ghostwire Tokyo, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Elden Ring, and Skyrim Anniversary Edition, okay? So rather than taking away from all of that and basically delaying those playthroughs yet another day, instead, actually just doing a little bit of each of those games. Maybe playing each game for about an hour to an hour and a half segment, and actually making real solid progress in all of them, okay? Essentially, either one is good in my opinion. Like, I think either idea is a good idea, and I'm trying to get your feedback. So if you're watching this, please share your feedback. How can you do that? Well, you can tell me in stream chat. You can tweet me. You could email me at darksidephil@hotmail.com. If you're watching this video on demand on YouTube, you can leave a comment on the video and tell me. I need that feedback and that interaction, because it is directly your feedback, your constructive criticism, that allows me to improve what I do on a daily basis. And I really appreciate that. It really is that direct line of feedback that I get from you guys that allows me to make improvements and things around here. Case in point, yesterday on the PreStream podcast, as well as a few days prior, I had basically been contacted by viewers saying, "Oh, Phil, we have an idea." And actually, I will give the original idea to this to someone. Their name is Joshua, and that's all I'm going to say because they said they didn't want to get blown up and get harassed for being involved in my content, which I totally understand. He emailed me a few days ago, and he said, "Hey, Phil, here's an idea. When you're live streaming, all right, what you do is you just stream, and you don't really do anything to the stream as it's live or anything. You just let it run, right? And when you do, YouTube auto-assigns a thumbnail to your stream, and that's the thumbnail everyone sees when they find you on YouTube while you're live streaming. And I'll give you some examples of ridiculous thumbnails that YouTube has selected for my content. Every day I do a video called The Daily Wrap. Now, usually when I do The Daily Wrap, I'm taking a hat off or I just took a shower, so my hair is kind of messed up. And usually I start recording, it's a natural instinct. I just go like this. I put my fingers through my hair. Every single day, YouTube selects that specific frame as the frame for the thumbnail. It has a weird algorithm that seems to select the most awkward phrases and pauses during any of my content, and that's the thumbnails that it selected. Yesterday, during the PreStream podcast, YouTube didn't select me talking or pointing or doing anything. It selected this. I'm not kidding. This specific frame of me turning around and just touching this thing was the frame that YouTube selected as the thumbnail for the PreStream podcast / the whole stream. Now, you may say, well, what's the big deal about that? There's really not a big deal about it. Unlike other streamers and content creators, when I finish streaming my stream here on YouTube, essentially I put it private so no one will ever watch it ever again. And I split this podcast up. I'm actually recording right now just the podcast. I've cut out the PreStream music, I cut out the advertisements, I cut out any of those breaks, and I make it digestible videos. A 1 to 1.5 hour podcast as one video. I upload that to DSPGaming. Then when the gameplay begins, I try to do it in 1 hour chunks. So each stream, I'm essentially uploading 2 to 3, maybe 4 videos. One is the podcast, and then there's 2 or 3 pieces of gameplay that goes live on DSPGaming. So that being said, you're never going to see that thumbnail for the stream ever again. But when the stream is live, that's what people see on YouTube. And we've been talking a lot recently about engagement, about how when you're watching my content and you click the like button, or if you leave a comment, right? Those things give this channel engagement. That helps with YouTube's ratioed algorithm, okay, that basically says, oh, if this content's getting a lot of action in that regard, a lot of interaction, it means it's good. Let's now shove that content into the search functionality of YouTube. Let's shove that into the related features of YouTube. So when people are watching content, you'll get suggested or show up in the search. Okay? So you might say, what does all that have to do with this thumbnail you're talking about? So people are seeing my content more now on YouTube, and you're seeing the dumbest thumbnails possible. Like me picking my nose, picking my ear, scratching my ass, turning around and grabbing this stupid thing, putting my hands through my hair, the dumbest stuff. That's the thumbnail. And it's not even representative of what the content is. Right now, if we took a thumbnail, this would be representative of what the content is. But instead, it does the ridiculous, awkward shit as the thumbnail. So it was suggested in an email by Joshua earlier this week that maybe I should take the thumbnails I'm already using for my ongoing game playthroughs and instead edit that to, instead of having a number on it, say the word live. Okay? Perfectly good suggestion. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I'm going to implement that. And then I got busy and I deleted the guy's email. I didn't respond to it. I didn't give him credit for it. And I forgot all about it. Story of my life. I'm so busy all the time doing a million things. I forget 90% of the shit that I'm doing and or the suggestions, and I apologize for that. Scatterbrained, I guess, would kind of be a good way to describe me these days because there's so much going on that it's hard for me to focus. You know what I mean? So then yesterday, we're on the PreStream podcast, and someone else comes on the stream and made the suggestion, and I don't recall exactly who it was. And I apologize in advance because I don't even know if this was Joshua or someone else making the same suggestion, nor do I know how the same exact suggestion would have come up within like a 2-day period, because it did. Okay? So this suggestion comes up, and we were talking about it a little bit, and I was like, I'm curious, what would be the actual benefit of making a custom thumbnail for the streams like I do with the videos? And after listening to the feedback, okay, I wanted to listen. I wanted to absorb. The feedback was, well, listen, what happens is people are searching for you on YouTube, or they find you in related, and they see the dumbest thumbnail ever. That's going to reduce the amount of chances that they're going to click and watch your content. If you have a thumbnail associated with your stream, it looks more professional, and the chances are going to be increased that someone might say, oh, look, a live stream of Elden Ring that's suggested. Let me click on it and give it a look. You see? So after being given that information, I was like, oh, I like this suggestion. And I'm now going to contact behind the scenes the person who makes my thumbnails and see if they can whip up some that say live, and we'll go from there. And the most hilarious thing happened, okay? There was another streamer or content creator. I don't even know who they are. I still have no idea. I don't even remember what their name was. You can tell when there's another streamer or content creator on your stream because they have a big check mark next to their name and their name is highlighted. And they literally say to me, you see, Phil, you're beyond help. This is why you fail. You're such a pig-headed person who doesn't listen to suggestions and everything. And I read his reaction, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm literally like, what are you talking about? Let's recap what happened, okay? A suggestion was originally made to me via email. All right? I liked the suggestion, but got so busy I accidentally deleted the email and never gave credit to the original person. Now I'm correcting that mistake. Okay? Days later, someone else makes the same suggestion on the PreStream podcast, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's listen. I'm not sold on this being a thing that I should do, but can you convince me? People convince me with actual facts and meaningful suggestions, and I'm like, okay, thank you so much. I will now implement that in my content. And then another content creator basically slams me and says that I'm an asshole and I don't listen and this is why I fail and yada yada yada. This is why everyone hates me. And you know what? That's pretty much, I hate to say it, that's pretty much the par for the course for me. And what I mean by that is, I actively in the last 5+ years have really made a solid effort to change who I am as a person, to change who I am as a content creator, to become more understanding of other people's opinions, to try to walk in other people's shoes in situations like this so that I can understand an outside perspective. Like, my perspective was, there's no reason to put a thumbnail on these streams, who cares? But then I say, oh, all right, let me listen to you. Let me listen to your argument. Let me listen to your rationale. And maybe you can convince me, okay? And so, what ends up happening? Convinced me. All right, very different today than I used to be. I used to be a pig-headed, stubborn, obstinate idiot. I thought that my shit didn't stink. I thought that it was my way or the highway, and what I say goes. I'm the popular content creator, not you. How dare you even suggest that I should change a single thing that I do in my content? Obviously, I'm the one who knows what he's doing. What a dumbass, really stupid way to think of things. And I know that now. But back then, absolutely not. Back then, I had absolutely no idea about any of that kind of stuff. I was just an idiot, okay? But I've really worked hard in the last 5 years to try to improve and change myself. And I feel like I have, and the overall feedback I get from my audience who's still here, and what I mean by that is, yeah, my audience has dwindled compared to who I used to be and how popular I used to be. And I know that. Being a full-time streamer, changing up the formula of what I used to do, basically took DSPGaming, and the channel shrunk, over the last 5 years, exponentially. It basically gets half as many views as it used to when I started focusing solely on streams on Twitch rather than this channel on YouTube. And, there's no one to blame about that but me and YouTube. Me, because I make that choice to go to Twitch and be a streamer, and YouTube, because YouTube's the one who basically forced me off the site as a business person when they lost all their ad revenue in 2017 because of the adpocalypse, okay? But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is, I don't even think this person who said that shit about me on my own stream was actually like a hater or a detractor or anything like that. This is just the common conception about me on the internet that's false. It's a false conception. You listen to a bunch of assholes outside of this stream and this content saying things about me constantly that aren't true. Phil's a jerk. Phil doesn't listen to criticism. That's why he fails. He shits on everyone. He hates on everyone. He bans everyone from his streams. He's a beggar. He's a scammer. He's this. He's that. I could go on for hours on it. I could. But the thing is, it's become a commonplace thing to crap on DSPGaming and or Darkside Phil. And so it was a perfectly rudimentary action to come to my stream and crap on me with completely false information. Now, people are saying, oh, we have to understand that he had admitted later on the stream that he was like 5 minutes behind when he made those comments. Okay? Okay, so why comment? If you're watching a stream that's 5 minutes behind, why are you commenting on it? You're essentially watching an archive of the footage. But you see the point I'm making is so many people on the internet are very irresponsible with the way that they say and do things that other people get hurt because of it. The little guy. And I'm one of them who I've been just a mass target of this kind of crap over the years. Literally, I made a direct improvement to my content, and I got crapped on for it. Being told that I didn't, and I'm an idiot, and I'm a jerk, and I'm a scumbag, and all that. And, you know, and I get tired of it. You know, it gets to the point where I get fed up with it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to at least stand up for myself a little bit. It didn't happen. You know, it's completely opposite of what that person was trying to make us up, or make me out to be, or what happened on that stream. Now, the funny part about that was, everyone acted like it didn't happen, and now I guess I'm supposed to move on, right? Which I'm going to. But it's hilarious that anyone could just crap on Darkside Phil, say bad things about him, make shit up, be completely in the wrong, don't publicly apologize for it. That's okay, right? But God forbid I burp on stream, or, you know, I do something stupid. Oh my God, it's like just crucify me, right? What a fair thing. So from now on, when some asshole says something wrong about me and it's on my content, I'm going to call it out. It's different if it's like someone outside of the stream saying dumb shit. All right, then okay, I don't care. You can go say your crap wherever you want on your own channels. But if someone comes on my stream and is going to try to shit all over me with something that's not happening, I'm just going to fucking roast your ass live. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a viewer or a content creator. I don't care. I still don't even know who that guy was, nor do I even remember his name from yesterday. I have no idea whatsoever why he was even on my stream. But you're going to come to my stream, expect to be treated stupidly if you're going to act stupid. Okay? It's that simple. So, it is what it is. It's in the past. Getting back onto the subject, I made this direct improvement to my content based on your feedback. So, I guess the question is, what do you guys think? Like, right now, do you like the fact that there's a custom thumbnail on the stream? Do you think this actually will improve anything? Do you think that someone who's just looking for an Elden Ring stream, you know, on YouTube, and they find it, and they're like, oh, let me check this out, and they click on it. Will they click on it because of the thumbnail? Do you actually honestly think that it was deterring people from checking out the content previously? Maybe it was. I don't know. But here's what I found, is that in general, a lot of the things that a lot of people make stuff out to be like a big factor in popularity and or success are not. You know, there's certain things out there that, oh my God, I can't believe something's blowing up on the internet. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't necessarily translate into anything concrete or positive when that stuff happens, you know? And that's why I don't really care about most of this crap that people always talk about. Oh, did you hear about this viral thing that happened? Did you hear about this hype thing? I don't really care. It's not going to affect me or my streams or my content at all in any way. So I just move forward, and I do my own thing every day, and I just stick with it. You know, I stick to my guns. I stick to my methodology. Let's be a prolific content creator. Let's put out quality content for my viewing audience every day, and make sure that I'm doing the right things, and that's all I care about, you know. And there you go. So, yeah, you know, that's kind of my mentality. If you guys have a suggestion for, you know, constructive criticism, I am all ears. I will absolutely, if it's within my means, I will do my best to implement it. And I'll give you some examples. Putting the thumbnail on the stream makes a lot of sense. It's an easy thing, a quick change, something I can do every stream, no big deal, and it might help, okay? Completely changing my content style does not help. I'm not going to completely change who I am as a content creator to try to get clickbait views and to try to jump into the YouTube algorithm of bullshit. Listening to a very small group of people who've been very vocal in the last few months about me doing some kind of membership multiplayer event That's also kind of invalid in my opinion. I am not a multiplayer gamer. Very few games do I ever play multiplayer in, and usually it's like an old school fighting game or a first-person shooter. If that, it's few and far between when I actually play anything for an extended period of time. You guys know that. So, that being said, you know, I look at some suggestions like it's just not viable. You're telling me what I should do is I should set up a series of members-only events so people will become a member on my channel, but then I have to sacrifice the content I'm putting out and make these streams happen where it's going to be a very limited amount of people involved or invested because most people are not going to be playing multiplayer with me. And I know for a fact this is the case because many, many years ago, I actually used to do multiplayer events at the end of every year. Okay, it was actually the month of December. I would do a year-end interactive event with my viewers where it was open season. Anyone who wanted to could actually play multiplayer with me. Okay? And back then, which is very different from today, at the end of the year, there was always a bunch of staple games that would come out that were multiplayer. You'd always have a Call of Duty and or a Battlefield competitor, so there's multiple FPS games. You'd usually have an action-based third-person game, think games like Gears of War, or in some cases even like Assassin's Creed. There was usually some kind of a racing game or something like that. And then on top of that, there was usually some kind of a fighting game, whether it was just the popular Street Fighter at the time or another fighter that had come out that year. So there used to be a ton of multiplayer stuff to do. There did. Like, it used to be a big variety. Now it's like you know, pulling. What's the phrase I'm thinking at here? I'll just say it's very hard to put together anything like that because the games aren't very good anymore, and there aren't that many that come out that are multiplayer within a close proximity where a lot of people would be able to have access to them. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, I'm already backlogged on all of my content. As you guys know, the last 2 months have been some of the busiest gaming release months ever in the history of gaming. To the point where there's multiple games people want to see me play, like Martha is Dead, WWE 2K22, Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy, just to name a few that I haven't touched yet. And there's other games coming up like Lego Star Wars that I'm probably not going to be able to play at release. Why on earth would it make sense for me to now be trying to schedule in multiplayer events for members that, number one, I'm not interested in? Number two, there's no mainstream demand for outside of a small group of maybe 24 people. And number three, would actually take away from my daily business of playing games and making progress in them, right? So do you see the difference between, oh, put a custom thumbnail on your stream, that'll help, constructive criticism. Oh, completely change your business model to integrate a members-only ongoing event so that more members will join and you'll have multiplayer sessions. What? These things are not the same. You understand what I'm saying? But people just think a suggestion is a suggestion. And if I blow off one suggestion, that means that I blow off all suggestions, and therefore I don't accept constructive criticism, and therefore I'm a scumbag. There you go. That's how people get to these ridiculous conclusions. So I will absolutely do what I can to improve. And if you guys have further suggestions, please let me know, you know, what you think. I'm totally open to suggestions, okay? Doorman just said, perhaps you could make a more customized thumbnail that looks different from the on-demand thumbnails to diversify. Well, the thing is, you got to remember, Doorman, this stream will not be visible when it's not live. So once this stream goes offline at 4 p.m. later today, you'll never find it. It's done. And then what you'll find is the on-demand videos, which will have the thumbnails with the numbers on them. So I could understand what you're saying if this was something that was going to remain live on the internet after the stream, you know, went offline. It's not. So I don't think it will create confusion. If anything, oh, live, and here's a numbered entry. I like that crossover. I like that kind of confusion, because that might mean, okay, they watch the live stream, well, where's the rest of the playthrough? Oh, here it is. I'll click here on the number, and then they start watching the playthrough on demand. That works for me. Seriously. That absolutely works for me. So I think I understand what you're saying, but I think in this case, maybe it doesn't make sense. Okay? Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks. That's pretty much, you know, the big topic for today that I wanted to talk about. I felt that it made sense to kind of let you guys know about an improvement to the stream. By the way, hold on a second. I just want to make sure my capture device is working. because I thought I just heard a disconnect noise. But I think I'm hearing things. Yeah, I'm hearing things. It just changed in color, right? Yeah, I'm hearing things. Cool. You know, I'm a little nervous because if you guys remember 2 days ago when I was playing What the hell? 2 days ago when I was playing Elden Ring, my capture device had an epic fail. And essentially, it wasn't being recognized by the PC right in the middle of the stream. And I actually think that the problem is not the capture device itself, but I think that the wiring of the capture device is starting to fail. And what I mean by that is I think there's a proprietary wire there or something that came with the device. I have an external capture device, is finally getting so old from daily use that if I even walk over there, I'm not exaggerating, if I get up and I walk near the capture device, near the wire fails, and then the system thinks it disconnected, and then it has to, like, re-recognize it, and sometimes it'll go, okay, right away, and other times the whole thing conks out. I gotta restart my whole PC to get it to work again. So, if that's not an indication that I have to upgrade my setup this year, I don't know what is. It's pretty obvious that this setup that I've used for 8 years needs to now be improved. If the damn thing is so old that I even get near it, and it, like, ooh, it passes out. Yes, it's probably some issues there. So, there you go. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about what we're doing today. Let's talk about what's coming up for the next week and the big birthday bash celebration that's coming up, okay? So, today, Elden Ring continues, and I'm excited because we have finally beaten all of the optional side dungeons that we were doing for about a week, and it's official. We're out in the open world again. Now, last stream, I went to the Atlas Plateau. I went up the lift because I had the two halves of the medallion. Immediately, there's an NPC standing there and says, "Do you want to go to Volcano Manor?" I'm like, I just got here. So I teleport to Volcano Manor. I'm fighting optional bosses. I'm exploring. I went to this mountain just outside the manor, and the funny part is, going to that mountain, excuse me, I don't actually know if that's where I was supposed to, like, I don't know the order to do things, so I don't actually know if I was supposed to be doing that mountain before I went to Volcano Manor, or if that's like, oh, you're at Volcano Manor and then you do that mountain. I'm completely confused. So anyway, I was trying to rush through the mountain because I had limited time on the stream, and the stream was ending. And people really said that there was an interesting boss they wanted to see me fight before the stream ended, an optional boss that can be found just by exploring. So you guys were trying to guide me to this boss, and then my freaking capture device malfunctioned. And it took me like 15 minutes to restart the stream and get it working again. I was very frustrated, leading me to rush to the boss in anger and trying to speed run the boss and beat it quickly before I ran out of time. I even went like 15 minutes extra, and I still couldn't beat it. I said, all right, I know when I get tilted and I get in a rush and everything, I play badly. So I said, we're going to adjourn for now, and when we resume in a couple days, this is where we'll pick up. I'll go right to this boss. We'll try to beat it first thing. Now, after that, after I do beat the boss, okay, I have absolutely no idea what we're doing. I almost feel like I want to go back to the Atlas Plateau because I know that's what I was supposed to do first, and I basically skipped the whole damn thing. So I'm thinking, let's go back to the Atlas Plateau. Let's explore that plateau. Let's look for upgrade items. Let's look for optional bosses. I'm not saying I have to do absolutely everything, because I get the feeling Atlas Plateau will likely be another Limgrave. And what I mean by that is similarly to the introduction of the game. I feel like you were supposed to do Atlas Plateau earlier, and there's probably a bunch of essential. There's probably golden seeds. There's probably sacred tears. There's probably other upgrade items that I should have gotten in the Atlas Plateau. And I know that likely I'm going to end up steamrolling all the stuff there. It's not going to be a super epic challenge, okay? So what I'd like to do is go through the Atlas Plateau on more of an exploratory, rather than a fully, like a fine-tooth comb, I think they call it. Rather, I got to scour everything. I think instead I'd like to ride through and look for major things. Look for a major building. Jump inside the building quick. What's in it? Is there items? Is there a boss? Let's do it. Okay, let's get the fuck out of here. You know, I don't want to spend 7 streams in the Atlas Plateau just to find out that everything there was a steamrollable enemy because of where I am in my build now, and everyone's disappointed and disconnected from the content. If anything, one of the cool things that maybe we can do, all right, do some Atlas Plateau and then split it up and go do something else. Like, I can go to Volcano Manor. I can go back to the mountain and continue to explore there where things are tougher. All right? And that's kind of what I'm feeling I should do, is rather than spending 100% of my time in the Atlas Plateau and end up being boring, spend some time there, get the items, and then go do something else, you see? So let's see how today goes. I'll be honest with you guys, it's tough because I'm not spoiled on the game, so I don't actually know where anything is. So I don't know, oh, here's the logical order of progression for important and interesting things. You should be hitting this, and then this, and then this, and then this. I don't know. I haven't researched the game and spoiled everything. You see what I mean? So because of that, it's interesting when I play the game, but at the same time, sometimes you end up with a stream that's boring, and I don't want that, you know? So let's see what happens today on the Elden Ring stream. It should be a good one. Then on the late stream tonight, a nice chill stream to end my 7-day streaming week, Skyrim After Dark. That's right, 2 hours of Skyrim fun. I'll be honest with you guys, I can't even remember what we did the last time I played Skyrim. My brain is like empty. So it'll be fun to chill with you guys, to interact, to relax, to have some fun conversation while we play Skyrim together tonight at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Excuse me, Pacific Daylight Time. I have to specify that now. Man, I just hope that we get rid of the daylight thing. Anyway, and that is the streams for today. Tomorrow I am off from streaming. So I hope that tomorrow you all have a great day. I would ask that today, if you are going to support my streams, the best way you could support them is by tipping me. Your tips today directly go to my day off tomorrow. Things like pet supplies, groceries, a meal out with my wife. Tomorrow we're actually getting haircuts because we need them badly. We haven't had a haircut since like January. So various things, you can help me with the cost of those things by tipping me today. Okay, so please consider it. If you like the content, please consider tipping. It will help a lot today. Okay. Tomorrow, I hope that you guys have a good day, whatever it is that you do. Maybe get caught up with all the content here on DSPGaming. And just a quick reminder, if you do, please like the videos if you enjoyed them. And please consider leaving comments on the videos if you watch them. Even a comment as simple as, thanks for the upload, or commenting to help. That helps. It adds engagement to the channel. So please do if you have time for it. And then I'll be back on Wednesday with the continuation of Ghostwire Tokyo and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Now, I do have something to say about both of these games. Okay? And I want to speak to it. Ghostwire Tokyo. For 1 month's time, you guys screamed at me and said, we love Elden Ring, but man, only having the one game is really killing it. We understand that Elden Ring is one of the longest games you're ever going to play, and there is monster demand to play it every day. But there was an audience of people who were yelling at me saying, Phil, we don't like it when you literally play the same game every day. It gets boring. We like variety. You're a variety streamer. Where's the variety? You're literally playing Elden Ring every daytime stream, and it gets boring. We want something else in the mix. And so I kept telling you guys, all right, what I will do is we'll wait for the next major new release, and likely I will implement that into the schedule. Well, the next big original new release was Ghostwire Tokyo, which came out on Friday. Today's Monday. Friday. That's correct. I got my days confused here. 1 second. I'm actually going to open the blinds over here, because the sun has gone away, and I'd like to get some natural light in the office today. That'd be nice. That would be a nice thing. Okay, so Ghostwire Tokyo came out Friday, and I was on the fence about playing it because it's the next game from Shinji Mikami, actually the latest game from Shinji Mikami, the maker of some of the classic Resident Evils, as well as the Evil Within 1 and 2. But the game looks completely different from anything the guy's done before. And I think a lot of people were on the fence about it, not knowing what it was going to be. Is this a first-person shooter? Is this an RPG? Is this a horror game? It's really hard to put your finger on what this game is, okay? All right. Well, I can answer that question for you guys now because I've played it for 6 hours, and I feel like I'm actually in the know. It's an adventure game. It's actually an adventure game. It's like kind of all of the above, but none of the above. It has elements from first-person shooters, RPGs, horror games, but overall, it's an open-world exploratory adventure game. You're going to have interesting side quest lines that are meaningful and fun. You're going to have a ton of exploration, and a lot of looting. It's another looter shooter. Yes, it's a looter. You go around looting a ton of stuff in the open environment, including trying to rescue all these people who apparently have been raptured from Shibuya, Tokyo. You're trying to send them to the afterlife properly because their souls are floating around in the streets. It's pretty crazy. Absolutely, there's going to be a ton of combat in the game, right? And it's different because I started off very slow. Like, the combat was kind of like, nah, shoot, shoot, shoot a little bit, shoot, shoot, shoot a little bit, no big deal. But now I've unlocked better abilities. Like, there's a water ability where it's a wave that goes out, and it's more like a shotgun. See? I now have a fire ability, and the fire ability is like a focused ability that goes straight at a distance, kind of like a rifle. So it's funny, because even though there's no guns in the game, there's essentially guns in the game. It really does play kind of like an action-based first-person shooter. But then there's RPG elements. As you save these souls and you complete combat challenges, etc., you level up. You can get better abilities on your weapons that you use to fight the enemies. You can get better traversal, like you can float across the rooftops, which is pretty crazy. I didn't even know that about the game. You can climb these buildings, these skyscraper-style buildings, and actually hover around the town, collecting items and fighting enemies. It's pretty fun in that regard. There is a feeling of freedom in the game that is pretty entertaining, I would say. If anything, one of the major criticisms I would say about Ghostwire Tokyo is that it's not really scary. I've maybe been jump scared a couple of times. There was one boss yesterday that I actually crapped myself because it was a jump scare boss and it's really creepy looking at it up close and it gets right in your face. And outside of that, definitely I would say the game has kind of a lack of direction when it comes to the story. I'm 6 hours in. I don't have a single idea what's going on yet. The game has explained nothing, and there's so much content in the game. Like, there's all this side content that pops up. You want to do it. It's fun. It's meaningful. The side stories are completely entertaining. But then you're like, geez, I played for 6 hours. I just realized I don't know what's going on in this game. I have no idea. Like, where did the people go? You know, what's going on in Tokyo? I don't know yet. Hopefully we'll get answers. You would think that's the point of the game, but right now I have no idea. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of upset about in regards to the game, all right? Everyone asked me to play something outside of Elden Ring, right? There was a strong consensus in my viewership, stop just playing Elden Ring every stream, all right? Now, there was no agreement on what it should be that I play. Some people wanted to see me play WWE 2K22. Some people wanted me to play a hot new release like Elden Ring. Ghostwire Tokyo, excuse me. And then there was other people who made random suggestions out of nowhere that I was never going to do, okay? There was no majority ruling on any of this. It was a lot of opinions being thrown at me with no consensus. So I made the ruling, I think we should play Ghostwire Tokyo. It looks original, it looks unique and interesting, and now that I've played it for 6 hours, I can tell you, the game is original and unique and interesting. It doesn't feel like a game I've played. Are there elements from other games in it that I've played? Yes, but the game feels completely unique in what it is. That's a good thing in this day and age when we're playing so many games that feel like they were copy and pasted off of each other to the point where we can even say, open world game, tons of side content, most of it's not meaningful, grind, boring stuff. You could talk about how many games are like that today. There's a bunch of them out right now that just came out in the last month, right? This is different. This is something interesting, okay? And I'm having a great time with it, streaming it. But here's what I've noticed. Whenever I stream it, viewership dwindles, and people basically, half the time in the stream, are completely disengaged from the game. They start changing the subject, they start talking about topics that have nothing to do with the game, and essentially they derail it. Now, I've been lenient about it, but I'm kind of wondering what's going on. Because it's a new release, it's actually different, entertaining, unique, it takes chances where other games don't. I'm loving it. So what's going on with the viewership and my audience? I'm curious. I would love feedback about this. If anyone has actual direct response to what I'm asking, I would love to hear your opinions. If you're someone who likes the game, why do you like it? If you're someone who's not enjoying it and not finding it engaging, why? Because I would like to know what's going on when I'm having a great time with this game. It's something you guys seem to have asked for, and all of a sudden it's just like crashing. You know what I'm saying? And that's upsetting. I spend money on this game. I'm invested in the game now. I'm 6 hours in and I like it. And I don't like the fact that if I play this game, because I'm going to be alternating it with Elden Ring, it's going to be, oh, I'm playing Elden Ring today. Here comes a lot of views, a lot of engagement, a lot of support. Oh, look, I'm playing Ghostwire Tokyo today. The views are way down. The engagement's down. The support is slower, and everything on YouTube comes to a screeching halt. It's like, Why? People wanted the variety. I gave them the variety. So what is happening, you know? But maybe it's something I'm not understanding, and that's why I want to appeal to you guys for answers. I love some answers and feedback. Some people are saying, well, we wanted WWE. All right, understood. You wanted WWE, right? Big deal. I'm not playing it now, and I explained to you why I wasn't playing it now, right? I already explained, and there was all overwhelming amount of explanation of what happened, and it makes more sense to wait for WWE regardless, because you know that half of the content I make in the game is created content, the sim matches I used to do, which I'm going to do again, and the longer I wait, the more actual created content is available on the online servers, you see? So if I wait longer, there's no reason to play it right away, because it's not a game that has a based narrative that you need to know right now. It's not a story-based game. Is there a story? Yeah, it's 3 hours long. Most people just play it as a cursory introduction to the game's controls, and then you never speak about it ever again. Okay? So, I want WWE. I get it. As I tell you guys, I can't please all of the people all of the time. If I had played WWE 2K22, I'm not kidding, we very well could have been in exactly the same situation we're in now. Well, why didn't you play the hot new release Ghostwire? Don't you know that WWE could have been played at any time? Your audience is, that WWE is a niche thing. Your whole audience doesn't like pro wrestling, so why did you pick that game over a hot new release? Okay? That's bullshit. Okay, here's some feedback. So, Danger Close says, it's not you, the game is boring, nothing exciting is happening, it's overall unsatisfying to watch, that's my opinion. Das Bullshit says, I feel like it's just kind of a downside of a playthrough content. It's like, okay, I get the gist of the game, it doesn't grab me, moving on. Open world games are bad in this regard. Okay, fair enough. Battle Duck 9000 says, for me it's one of the playthroughs, I just can't put it on to play on the second monitor because of the audio. I don't understand a single word of Japanese. So you're saying, because the game is Japanese focused, and because you'd have to actively sit there and actually watch the playthrough. You can't just listen to it because it's Japanese language. So you have to watch to read the subtitles, and because of that, you can't just have it on as an enjoyable playthrough. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't even think of that. I really didn't. That may actually be part of it. I think you may have hit it on the head, that a lot of people who watch my stuff maybe aren't actively sitting there staring at the stream 24/7, reading every little ant-sized subtitle. And I complained. As soon as I booted the game up, I complained. I said, why are the subtitles so effing small and unreadable in this game when obviously the game's intended for you to listen to the Japanese spoken dialogue? It's done very well. The Japanese voice acting is really good. So why the hell are the subtitles unreadable? That's annoying. Das Boja says, his reasons are why I watch anime dubbed like uncultured swine. My Ruin says, I'd much rather have you switch to English. I have no clue what's going on in the story. Well, don't worry. I have no clue what's going on in the story either. Nothing's happened yet. That was kind of the point I was making this morning is we're 6 hours in and there's been little to no story developments yet. I know they're coming, but it's kind of like, damn, there's so much to do in the game that's fun. You get so sidetracked that I have barely advanced the story yet, so it's not just you. But I understand your point. Okay, that may be a factor. The thing is now, I wish I kind of would have known how big of a factor that would have been. Because if I had known that it would have been that big of a factor, all right, then likely what I would have done is I would have played it in English. I didn't know that. I thought, hey, let's leave on the original Japanese. It defaulted to that. And I said, let's play it. It should be good. We should hear the Japanese dialogue, and it's actually going to be higher quality than the English. I guess this is exactly why when I play games like Yakuza or Lost Judgment, I typically do use the English voice acting. So, all right. I will absolutely take that in as valid criticism and a valid suggestion of what's going on. That does make sense to me now. And the fact that it's another open world game with content that you kind of stumble upon. Okay, I get it. To me, like, the reason that I'm disappointed is that this game actually, I feel, takes that open world formula but does it so differently that it feels refreshing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just played Dying Light 2. The game didn't feel refreshing at all. The game just felt like Dying Light 1 and didn't even feel like it was a new game. It felt like it was just a DLC expansion. It didn't even need to be made. right? We just played Horizon Forbidden West, and even though the game had gorgeous visuals, an interesting plot, and really nice world design, and the cultures were unique, it definitely felt like you were playing Horizon Zero Dawn again, and it really didn't improve much upon that formula. Besides a few tweaks here and there, it definitely felt like the same kind of open world, boring grind fest. In fact, this game even made it more grindy because you couldn't even earn certain abilities, like the hacking of the robots. You had to go grind for robot parts to hack the robots. What are you talking about? It was really bad in that regard. So, I get those two pieces of input, and I thank you for them. The thing is, there's no way I can back out of Ghostwire now. I played it for 6 hours in Japanese. Changing the dialogue to English right now is not going to help. The audience is what it is at this point, and you're not going to attract any new viewers because 6 hours into a playthrough I changed the dialogue. Anyone who couldn't understand the first 6 hours isn't going to watch the rest. You see what I'm saying? But this is feedback I absolutely will take. The next time that I play a game that has the option of Japanese or English, I guess I'll select English. I guess it just makes sense. That also would fix the subtitle issue, because the subtitle issue is very frustrating that the subtitles are so small. But the funny part about this is these people who over-exaggerate. Like, people right now in the stream chat are like, oh, no, 90% of your viewers want a WWE. That's completely false. That's 100% false. I was asking for a week for people's feedback, and it was very split down the middle between Ghostwire and WWE. It was not a 90-10, 80-20, 70-30, 60-40 situation. It was kind of like, we either want this or this, and no matter what you do, you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't, because we're split. All right. Okay. So let's see what happens. But what I would ask is, let me put it this way. All right. The reason I'm talking about it is because I'm trying to give more attention to this playthrough. Okay. It's good. The game does some really unique things and has a unique atmosphere and vibe to it, unlike other style games like this. It's funny because people keep saying, so what's it like? Is it like Dishonored? Is it like BioShock? Is it like, I'm like, no, it's not like any of those. It's literally its own game. Yes, it borrows from other franchises, but it really feels unique with what it's done here. So I wish people would give it a chance. If you haven't given Ghostwire a chance yet, please do. Please tune in to the streams and give it a look. All right? If you don't like it, then fine. But I feel like there's a lot of people who've written the game off for various reasons, maybe some of them being the reviews, because remember, I almost skipped the game because of the mainstream reviewers and what they said about it, when in reality, I actually feel that the game is much better than what those reviews kind of represented, okay? At least 6 hours in. So, please give it a look when I continue it on Wednesday, all right? So Wednesday, on my day back, it'll be Ghostwire Tokyo on the first stream, and it'll be a late-night stream of Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Kirby in the Forgotten Land is absolutely outstanding. I played 4 hours of it. I beat the first 2 worlds. I love everything about the game besides the graphics. Like, literally, every gameplay element is fun and unique. It implements old Kirby with new style gameplay. There's tons of new mechanics in the game that weren't present in previous Kirby games, which is awesome. The puzzles are interesting and challenging, while the combat is engaging, although it's not hyper difficult. Maybe some people would just not like the game because it's not difficult. Personally, I'm enjoying myself. It even has RPG elements in it, like a leveling system for your abilities, which I didn't even know existed in the game. All right? The only criticism I have of the game, the graphics. They suck. It's on the Switch, and the Switch is basically held massively back because it's way outdated, underpowered hardware. And you're trying to play the game, and the frame rate keeps dipping, and it's very jarring in that regard. And you can tell that if they were on more modernized hardware, the game would look gorgeous and run beautifully, and they're just not there. And it sucks that they're still making these underpowered consoles. It's really shooting them in the foot, in my opinion. Because outside of that, the game is like... I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you this. This is by far the best Kirby game I've ever played. It's Game of the Year material for me right now. That could change by the end of the year, but it's definitely that level of a game. It's quite good. And the fact that people are like, it's a first-party kids game and the graphics look crappy, it sucks that people write it off for those reasons. I don't know why Nintendo keeps fucking pumping out shitty-ass underpowered consoles. Make a fucking real console that people can play next gen on. Pisses me off. So, ladies and gents, please check out the new playthroughs on Wednesday when I come back, okay? Thursday, it's going to be Elden Ring again and no late-night stream. Why? Because I need to work on my taxes. I have not had a chance to. It's been so busy with new releases the past 2 months. I've basically slacked on it, and now we're coming down to the wire. I absolutely have to put my information together so I can file my taxes, and I need to take some streams away this week to do that. So Thursday night, no late stream. Friday will again be Ghostwire Tokyo and Kirby. Saturday will be Elden Ring, and again, no late night stream, as I'm going to do my taxes again. And what I'm hoping is between the 2 nights, Thursday and Saturday night, that'll be around roughly 6 hours for me to work on it. Hopefully that's enough. Might not be. I might need way more time, depending on how things go, and I'll let you know. But basically, there will still be a ton of streams this week, just less than usual because I need to work on these taxes, okay? So over the weekend, you'll see that alternation. You'll see Elden Ring, Ghostwire, Elden Ring, Ghostwire. Once the taxes are done, then you're going to get to the alternation of Kirby, Skyrim, Kirby, Skyrim. But I need to get to that point, and I don't know how long it's going to take me, okay? Now, I also don't know next week what day my day off will be. It could be Monday, it could be Tuesday. I don't know yet, and I won't know until much later this week. Once I know, I'll let you know. Because basically, my birthday bash is going to be on Wednesday, April 6th, my actual 40th birthday. And what it's going to be is a marathon, all right? What will the marathon be? That's what I need your feedback on. I already explained. Please let me know if you'd rather see some Game Pass games or you'd rather see me do continuation of all the current playthroughs that I'm doing. I'm happy doing either one would be fine in my opinion. I don't really have a preference. I think either one would be entertaining. So let me know. Give me your feedback over the week. But what I will do is in the next week, basically probably when I come back from my break, I'm going to put up a poll on the main page of DSPGaming, and you guys are going to vote on the cuisine type that you would like for me to eat during Feasting with the King. For those who don't know, Feasting with the King is a show where in the morning I order food live with you off of a menu. It gets delivered during the day, and essentially I'm trying a cuisine that I'm not familiar with live on stream and reviewing the food items. Previously, I've tried Indian food, Sonic drive-in food, Filipino food, Mediterranean food, and most recently, the last one that I did, Mexican food. Okay? Every time that I do this, I purposely order things that I'm not familiar with just to try them out for the first time. It's kind of an exploratory series, but it's also fun. We have a live meal together. It's a pretty entertaining thing. So it'll be cool to do that on my birthday. All right? And then there'll also be a live cake tasting when I have a piece of birthday cake to celebrate my birthday. All right? So that being said, what will the options be? We talked about this and kind of determined it last night. It will be Thai food, including pho and banh mi sandwiches. Excuse me, I completely got that screwed up. Vietnamese food, including pho and banh mi sandwiches. Thai food, which can include things like pad Thai noodle dishes, fish dishes, and other things. Or, this will be the third one, barbecue. Now, you may say, barbecue? I mean, everyone's had barbecue before. Right. But what I'll do is I'll purposely order something that maybe it's not something I eat all the time. Some kind of a barbecue that's maybe outside of the comfort zone. Like, usually I would eat like a roasted chicken or something like that. I'll just get something crazy different. Okay? So, those will be the 3 options. And you guys will be able to vote on those soon. Not yet. I'll let you know soon once you can start voting on the type of cuisine for that. That'll probably be, like I said, when I come back from my break later this week. Okay? There you go. All right. So that's what's going on with the streams. That's what's going on with the schedule. I hope that sounds good to all of you. Let's now get to shout-outs. All right. So we start off today with Mitor Mangus, who did a $5 super chat and says, maybe you should spend time clearing the air around your name to new people giving you attention online. There are absolutely no new people giving attention online on this stream. This is not happening at all. Everyone here is a regular or knows who I am and knows what I do. I'm not getting a single eye on this content new at all. I know that. Big Daddy Dubs did a super chat and says, what did the 5 fingers say to the face, Will Smith? Dirt did a super chat, says, what level is your character? I don't know, but I know it's like 100, it's 100 in the teens. So like probably like 115 or something like that, maybe, give or take. And then Dirt did another super chat and said, vegetables. All right, well, thank you, Dirt. Vegetables. Who doesn't like vegetables? I like vegetables. What's funny is I hated vegetables as a kid, and now I actually really enjoy them as an adult. Because tastes change over time. Okay. All right. Continuing on. Our first tip of the day came in from Slayer. Welcome, Slayer. He says the following. I would like to give you an update on my Elden Ring status. I'm at level 20. I'm using the Lord Sworn Great Sword which can stagger enemies. I defeated but kept Patches alive. I killed the Bloody Fingers invasion. Cool. And he continues on with a second tip. I went to the Limgrave tunnels and I beat the troll boss. I remember that. That's the tunnel, the first tunnel where you can get crafting items. Yes. I also went ahead to get to the Limgrave East map, but I got killed by giant bears after getting the map. I don't seem to be doing much damage to them. I'm raising my stats to use the Golden Halberd. So, this is a good gauge for where you are in the game. If you're in an area and everything seems to be one or two shotting you, and you are not doing significant damage to that enemy type, it basically means you're not supposed to be there yet. You need to level up somewhere else. And I think the logical progression of the game is the central area of Limgrave where you start, then southern Limgrave and clearing the entire southern Limgrave out, then eastern Limgrave, but not all of it. You're supposed to do all the stuff on the top. There is an underground area that is higher level, and you're not actually supposed to do that right away. And then, once you explore all those areas, then you go to Stormvale Castle. That's supposed to be the logical progression of the game at this point. Okay? You're right. Around level 20, fighting the giant bears is probably not a good idea. I remember when I was doing East Limgrave, I was kind of over leveled because I already did Stormvale Castle. And even then, the bears weren't easy to kill. I would say for now, explore around East Limgrave. Definitely get the items. There's a really important flask there you need. Okay, really important for the rest of the game. So take your time to explore as much as you can. And if you see a bear, get the fuck out of there. You're definitely going to get your butt kicked at level 20, likely. So, thank you for the tips and keeping us abreast of the situation. Thank you to Rob on Wheels for a $5 tip, which is actually the biggest tip of the day. Let's get Rob on Wheels up on the leaderboard here. Okay. So, Rob on Wheels says, Kaito-san's DLC is now available. If you play it, I will support it whenever you're ready. If you don't know what he's speaking of, he's talking about an expansion DLC for last year's hit Lost Judgment. A game that I very much enjoyed playing at a long-term pace. I had a really good time with the game. I love the Judgment and Yakuza series, but I knew the timing of this DLC may be bad if what happened. That every game that released in the last 2 months ended up being incredibly long, and now here I am amidst so many playthroughs. So what I would say is thus. I will strongly consider playing this DLC later in the year when things calm down, and likely I would play it just like I did with Lost Judgment. It would be a slow build or a slow burner kind of a playthrough that I play maybe like twice a week on a late night stream. It likely would not be a major focus stream. That's okay. You know, the entire Lost Judgment playthrough was very similarly played like that, and it did fine. So, I am excited to check that out at a future date. There's no way I could be doing it right now. But thank you for the heads up. I would be interested to hear if it's any good, if anyone out there checks it out. Okay? Slayer did another $1.50 tip. He says, I enjoy Ghostwire Tokyo. In my opinion, it's similar to the situation with Lost Judgment. It's Japanese themed, and the story is confusing with its theme. Also, it's a slower game with a Japanese theme, so it doesn't appeal to your daytime streaming audience. And you very well may be right in that regard. That because of the themes of the game, because it is a slow build style game, like I said, I'm 6 hours in, I still don't know what's going on in the plot. That might be a good reason why it's also not clicking with my main audience. Fair enough. Thank you for that elaboration there, Slayer. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Meteor Magnus did another super chat. Says, what about the people saying that they are new? What about them? There's not many of them. We have 415 people on the stream right now. Big deal, right? I mean, welcome. If you're a newcomer to the stream, welcome to the stream. I welcome all newcomers. I really do. But allow me to extrapolate a little bit on the situation, all right? What I have come to find is being an internet content creator that has been around for 13 plus years. Whenever something outside of these streams goes viral, okay, it doesn't affect the streams at all right? I've been there, done that. I've had situations, interactions with other people on the internet, content creators, celebrities. I've had viral tweets go live, all right? And it doesn't affect anything. It doesn't. Maybe temporarily there's a boost. It doesn't affect anything, okay? That being said, I appreciate newcomers and attention, right? You would think that if a random tweet that I made that apparently ratioed the Oscars would somehow bring attention to the stream. How is it that I have exactly the same attendance on today's stream that I have on every Elden Ring stream? Exactly. It doesn't affect anything. That's not why I made the tweet. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anything. Kevin Bernstein did a super chat. I saw your tweet. I agree. He had no right. And thank you for the super chat. And Europe Gaming did a super chat and says, would you play original Castlevania on the Switch NES? Yes, maybe one day I would. Okay. So the latest super chat is Europe Gaming. Okay. There we go. People are saying Will Smith replied. I don't care. I'll read it later. I really don't care. I don't give a shit. I will read it later and probably have a good laugh at it. I'm on my stream. It's time to game. It is time to kick ass in Elden Ring and get my ass beat in Elden Ring. People are saying he did. All right, I'll read it later. I don't care. I'm seriously not derailing my content in my stream. That's not what I'm about. I don't, you guys know me, Mr. Consistent. I'm not here for drama purposes and shit. I'm here to play games, so. So now, all day, all we're going to have is Will Smith jokes. Of course. I'm being trolled. Will Smith doesn't actually have a Twitter account? Oh, he doesn't? Okay. So, it sounds like maybe people are pretending to be Will Smith. There you go. You know what? If you are a celebrity in the public eye, it's probably a really good idea to not have a Twitter account. Based off of my personal experience with Twitter, literally you could fart the wrong way on Twitter and you get in trouble. So, it's better to not have one. Okay. PS5 Gamer, thank you for the super chat. He says, DSP versus Will Smith 2023. No. And by the way, yeah, it's totally fine. You guys want to bring it up all day. You want to make jokes about it. It's perfectly okay. There's no problem with that. Obviously, it's a hot topic right now. Chris Rock, the Ultra Chad. He's a legend. He gets slapped and continues on with the award show. That's funny. Top Gun, if people are literally telling me that Will Smith does not have a Twitter account, do you really think that if you keep spamming that Will Smith said something to me on Twitter that you should keep doing that? Or would you like your ban now? Just asking. Would you enjoy the ban now or later? Now he says Chris Rock replied. All right, now you're really banned. That's enough of that. Slayer says, I greatly enjoy Ghostwire. I hope to get the game when I get the PS5. You know, that is one of the major things about, Ghostwire is that it's only on PlayStation 5 and PC. You can't play it at all on an Xbox console, and you can't play it on a PS4 console either. That's really killing its availability to a widespread audience. I really feel like it's a bad choice. They really should have found a way to get it to work on last gen or on Xbox. I know that there was some exclusivity agreement that they sold, right? It's like it's a time delay or whatever. I guess what they're saying is that probably next year it'll be on Xbox consoles. And again, the weird thing about this whole situation is it's made by Bethesda. Well, it's published by Bethesda. And Bethesda is owned by Microsoft. Yes, they got bought out. So this game was being developed exclusively for PS5 and gets released only on PS5 and PC, but it's basically made by a Microsoft-owned company. Weird, right? I'm just curious. Very briefly, I'm just going to check on the tweet and how it's doing. Because I find it absolutely freaking hilarious. Let's see. So currently, the Academy's tweet last night about the situation, saying that they do not condone violence of any form, got 65,800 likes. My tweet in response to them has 67,400 likes and climbing. So my tweet ratioed the Oscars. We live in a world where my random ass, unintentional tweet like that, right? Literally ratioed the Oscars. If anything, this whole situation, here's what I really have to say about it. It's just common sense defeats the vast majority of people today. Like, common sense is not present in humanity today. It's just not there. People don't have common sense. So when someone speaks common sense, it's like an epiphany. Couldn't have said it better myself. Like, I didn't really say anything. All I did is I said something that was common sense to anyone with a brain and morality in their bodies. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I said, don't worry. Yes, we can make jokes about it today on stream and everything. It'll be funny. It'll absolutely be a funny day. But in regards to this situation, this is not going to affect my streams today at all. Maybe we'll have a few newcomers coming in. By the way, one thing I should say, if you are a newcomer to the streams, okay, welcome. You probably can't talk because my streams sadly get trolled tremendously. I get attacked by people all the time for completely stupid reasons, to the point where when I first started streaming on YouTube a year ago, it was unwatchable. It was just constant stupid account after stupid account, insulting racist things, disgusting things, and I basically had to turn on this sub-only mode. You have to be subscribed to this channel for 24 hours to talk in my stream chat. It's just necessary. And by the way, since I instituted it, it helped tremendously. It really did. So I want to say thanks to those who understand. And if you happen to be a newcomer today, as few of you as there will be, I really doubt there'll be that many. But any of you who may be new, welcome. Sadly, you have to wait 24 hours after subbing to talk in the chat, but hopefully you enjoy the content. Okay? Okay. Smitty did a $4.20 tip and says he must have heard about the King of Cock. I forgot what it stood for. That was our joke from last year. What did that stand for? KOC. Was it King of Content? That's what it was, wasn't it? King of Content? And they abbreviated it KOC cock. Stupid. Emo, seriously, thank you so very much. Listen to this. Alright. Listen to this. Emil just did a $150 tip. Emil, you're awesome, dude. You started coming by in the last week to week and a half, right? 2 weeks, actually. And you've been supporting the Elden Ring streams tremendously. I really, really appreciate this. $150 tip from Emil. That immediately means we're going to have Gunner glasses, a hat, and a vest. Awesome. I'm actually very stoked about that. He has a nice positive message to read. But what I'd like to do is get up on the leaderboard and get the polls going. Okay? Email. Thank you. Wait. Email H. Crap. Oh, there we go. Let's read what he has to say. He says, let's hit all the goals today. I've been watching you since 2014 on a live stream here on YouTube of Persona 4 and your Twitch streams. And I watch your streams every day. It depends on the game, though, and on demand. Awesome, Emo. Happy to hear that. I've been around the block. I've been doing this since 2008, streaming since 2012. So, actually, no, 2013. 2013 is when I started streaming. Let's do a poll for the hat. Which hat is Elden best? Would it be the real-life Dumas helmet? Would it be the cowboy hat? Would it be the Pikachu hat? Or would it be the... Well, we won't do the Viking hat because I'm doing Skyrim tonight. Let's do the fake hair hat. There we go. And let me get the Gunner glasses on, because remember, if you guys vote for the Dumas helmet, that means I can't wear them. So let me put them on now, so at least you guys get some Gunner glasses, right? There we go. Okay. Kevin Keys, just to be $5, says, you speak the truth, Phil. Again, it's common sense. The things that I say on the internet, especially on Twitter, are usually just common sense, right? And the thing is that people just don't have it anymore. So to see someone speak it. Do you want to know what I really think happened? I just finished my stream last night. I didn't even know the situation. I didn't watch the Oscars. I was streaming Kirby. And I went on Twitter and there was a thread about it, like, you know, the trending. And I clicked on the trend. I saw the video clip. My jaw dropped. And then immediately the tweet came out from the Academy. Like that moment, it appeared in the feed. And I read it and I was like, you got to be joking me. This is their response. How disingenuously fake can you be with this state? You couldn't be more factually wrong with what you just said. And now I responded to it. And the thing is, I responded to it within a minute of it being posted. And I was the first blue check mark to respond. And because of that, it immediately put it to the top of the algorithm. People started liking, and you know, and that's how it happens. It's basically like striking when the iron is hot. I didn't intend for that at all in any way, shape, or form. I was just shocked. I was reading the feed myself, and I was blatantly shocked at how appalling this supposed tweet from the Academy was on what they were trying to explain the situation was. I was like, you couldn't be lying more. You know? So I make a common sense statement and bloop, and there you go. In fact, check you out it again. My tweet is 67,700 likes, and the Academy only has 66,000. I can't believe I ratioed the fucking Academy of Arts and Sciences or whatever they are, right? Ridiculous. Slayer says, even now, it's hard to get a PS5. Even when stores stock up on PS5 and open orders for it at midnight, just 1 second after it's unavailable. Yeah, right. It's basically the only way to get a PS5 right now is to be in one of these stupid club things. Like there's the paid for club for Best Buy or the paid for club membership for GameStop. And what happens is they make the consoles available only to their club members. And then when they flip the switch, everyone rushes and they only sell bundles. You can't just buy the PlayStation 5, okay? You have to buy the PS5, an extra controller, a controller charging stand, wires for it, a headset for it, 2 games you don't want, and a subscription to PlayStation Plus in a bundle that costs like $1,000. That's how you got to buy the PS5 right now. What has happened is these companies have realized that the PS5 is so in demand and still not publicly available, they can take advantage of you and force you to buy shit you don't want, which reaps them tons of profits. If you're not aware, is everything fine with the audio? Someone said the audio sounds weird. Is it okay? Hold on. Is it good? Or do I need to try to mess with it? I'm waiting. What do you guys think? Is there something wrong? Do I have to mess with the mic? It's fine? Okay. I guess what happened is I might have hit the mic. Oh, I smacked my mic with the hand. I'm an Italian. I talk with my hands like an idiot. Okay. Anyway. What they're essentially doing, these businesses are taking advantage of you. They are. You may not realize this. Businesses do not make money on the sale of a console. There's zero profit. It's like 0.1%. So when you buy a PlayStation 5 console for $499.99, they bought it for like $495.99. They made like $4 sale on it. They don't care. They don't care about selling the console. They want to sell the accessories. The accessories are where all of their profit come from. So what they're doing, GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, they're selling all of these as a bundle on purpose so that when you buy that console, you have to spend $400 or $500 extra, and that's like hundreds of dollars of profit for the company. It is completely dishonest, and if Sony had a brain in their head, they would actually contact the companies and say, you have to stop doing this, because if you continue to do it, we just won't send you any consoles anymore. You're supposed to be selling our products, not, you know, trying to basically benefit from this ridiculous situation of COVID and low manufacturing numbers. You're out of your minds. This is completely immoral, and you might argue it's just business, but go fuck yourself, then make a fucking business model that works, and stop trying to rip people off, which is what you're doing. So that being said, that's really the only way you're ever going to get one right now. From what I've seen, even the companies that get them in stock, that's the only way that they're possibly selling them. And the thing is, because they're sold in a bundle like that, this bundles stick around a little longer. Like, I heard that at Best Buy or GameStop, when those bundles go live, you can wait like an hour and still buy the bundle, because most people are apprehensive about spending an extra $400 or $500 to get the console. Now, the funny part about all this is, think about this. The funny part of all this is, you can also just buy the console for the same exact price from a scalper. But you won't get the extra controller, the charge stand, the games, the PS Plus subscription, and everything else. You'll just get the console, right? So, honestly, which is the lesser of two evils? I guess you can argue buying it from the actual legit business, and getting all that stuff extra with it. Even if you never use it, you could still resell it and make some money back, right? Like, what if you don't need any of that shit? You could still kind of trade it in or sell it and make some credit back. So at least in that regard, it's better than just lining the pocket of some scumbag scalper who runs a bunch of bots on the fucking internet and steals the inventory up from the hands of little children. Poor little Billy and little Samantha have been trying to get PlayStation 5 since launch, and they can't get one because some dickweed has 400 of them in a warehouse, and he goes like this on the internet, and he goes, "Excellent, make my profits off of this." Just like that. Looks like the real-life Dumas helmet is leading the charge in the poll for the hat. Although Pikachu is very close behind. I'll let it run for like another minute here, because it hasn't even been 10 minutes yet. Shout out to, hold on, I think a couple super chats came in. Kevin Bernstein did a super chat. He says, would you smack a guy for talking about your wife? I want you to think about how dumb this is. Would I physically assault someone for saying words about my wife? Would I risk myself going to jail and having actual jail time and or financial punishment for physically assaulting someone because of something stupid that they said? What's worse? Having someone say something nasty about you or a family member and taking it and saying, okay, fuck you, you're an asshole, or actually hurting your own family by making yourself now suffer concrete consequences for a physical altercation. This is grade school level schoolyard shit. Neener, you're ugly. Okay, punch him in the face, now you're expelled from school. Who's the loser in that interaction, right? There are times in life when you have to take decisive action. Like, for example, if my wife was physically in harm's way and someone was going to hurt her, then I intervene to protect my family and my wife. Just because someone's saying some nasty words about someone, you don't just lash out. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand something. If I decided to physically lash out against every person who ever said nasty words against myself or my family, I would be doing that till the day I die. I literally would not have another moment to do anything else. People would have to line up outside of my house, through my community, through the town of Renton, through the state of Washington, across the country, and the line probably wouldn't end until the end of the northeastern point of the continent of North America. And it would just be me punching them constantly like this until my fist turned into a liquid mess because so many people have insulted me. So think about how stupid the situation is. Okay? No, you don't physically assault people because someone insulted you or your family member. You say, wow, what an asshole you are, and you make them look like the immature asshole they are, and you move on. It's called common sense. There you go. Penis Parker did a super chat and says, congrats on the ratio. Fuck the trolls. And then Fernando did a super chat and he says, hope you're having a good Monday. Hello, chat. All right, well, Thank you, Fernando, for the super chat. I am having a good Monday so far. And I appreciate the contribution. No, see, you're right. Yusef just said, well, common sense isn't common. Not anymore. It used to be called common sense because people all had it. People literally don't have it anymore. It's like at some point in history, humanity disconnected from having this common code of sense and logic, and instead it's all everything's based now on emotions, right? Everything in life is now based on emotion. Everything's a raw emotion, and you can't control yourself because you're having an emotion right now. That's something like a 4-year-old has, you know? Oh, Billy insulted me, so I punched him in his penis. Wow. That's an emotional thing that you learn later on in life. You become mature, and you say, I'm not going to do that. Some people never got there. So that's what I mean. The common sense isn't common anymore. You're right. People lost that connection of sensical thought, I guess. Right? Pretty silly. Oh, D-Man Games, I totally understand why Will Smith got upset. I 100% understand the whole situation. I'm not saying he didn't have a right to be upset. He absolutely did. He just didn't have a right to physically altercate in that situation. Slayer says, my friend pre-ordered the PS5 under Sony directly. He only got it for a stock a year later. Wow, so he did the direct one, huh? That's funny. Ren did a super chat. And Ren, just so you know, I'm just going to put Ren up on the leaderboard because you have a super long name and it's going to make the leaderboard go crazy. He basically said, Sony is profiting off the disc version of the console now. Oh, I'm not saying Sony. I understand that. It's what I'm saying is the retailers. When retailers buy consoles, they buy them for cost, essentially, or just under cost. I know because I used to be in the retail business, and you could actually see the profit margins on them. When you see the markups and stuff, and how you can mess around with pricing at the register sometimes, and it would be like, if you sell a game, there's a profit margin of about $10 to $15. If you sell an accessory, usually the profit margins are huge. Like you buy a charging dock for a controller, the dock retails for $30. The cost is like $10. So you're making $20 a sale on a charging dock. It's ridiculous markup. But consoles, there's zero profit margins. It's like you sell the console for $499.99. The business paid $497.99. They're not making money selling that thing. That's the point I was making. Sony, you're right. Sony makes a profit on it now. We're not going to go there. We're not going there, Bay Area Greek. I appreciate your super chat, but we're definitely not going there. You know, that's not what my streams are about. That's the subject you don't touch with the 10-foot pole, right? Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for a great pre-stream. Thank you very much for a great pre-stream. Let's end it. I have to take a leak quickly, so I'll do that. And then we're going to jump right into Elden Ring. It looks like the real-life Dumas helmet has won the poll, so let's just solidify that. That means the glasses come off because the helmet has to go on, and I can't wear the glasses with that particular helmet. And we're going to do the next poll for the vest. So, which vest is Elden best? Now, I just so happened to wear the platinum vest yesterday. So, what vest should be eligible today? Let's do beige, red. How about blue for a change? And I just wore gold recently too, so let's do denim. No, you know what? Let's do gray. Because I never wear the gray. We'll have that as an option. Okay. All right. Poll is live for the vest. Let's take a brief rest for me to use the restroom, and then we'll start. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for a great podcast.